Hello, welcome to week 3, part 1 of the lecture for this week. During this lecture, I'm going to be focusing on body growth and change. Uh, as you think about it, and as you have probably seen infants during early development, the head constitutes a very large portion of their total body, and I'm going to show it here um, in this diagram. So as you see here, especially during the fetal and newborn stages, children have a pretty large head. So why do you think that is? There are two different patterns of growth that explain why the head is much larger when infants are younger. So the first one is the cephalocadal pattern, and this pattern indicates that the greatest development takes place at the top of the body, from the head to tail. This means that the head grows first and other parts of the body will grow later. And as you think about it, this is logical since the brain regulates functions that are essential to the growth of other parts of the body. And especially also the eyes and brain, um, they grow faster than other parts of the head, even such as the jaw. And the sensory and motor development also proceed according to the cephalocadal principle. So for example, infants see objects before they can control their torso, and they can use their hands long before they can crawl or walk. The other pattern is the proximal distal pattern of development, and what this means is that growth starts at the trunk of the body and moves towards other extremities. So for example, the muscle control of the trunk and arms matures before um, the one that controls the hands and fingers. So infants use their whole hand as a unit before they can even control their fingers. This makes sense because nerves have to grow from the spine and spread out so that the infants can control their arms and legs. Also, the heart and breathing are in the central part of the body, so it makes sense that the trunk part of the body develops first. And what we see in this table is that height and weight increase very rapidly in infancy. However, growth takes a slower course during the childhood years. So, it slows down during childhood. Um, but then, after slowing through childhood, growth surges again during puberty. Puberty, as defined by the book, it is a period of rapid physical maturation involving hormonal and bodily changes that occur primarily in early adolescence. So for girls, puberty is marked by menarche or their first menstruation. And then also their body begins to change. For boys, it is marked by their first ejaculation and other body changes as well. Um, and for precocious puberty, or it is a term used to describe an early onset of rapid progression of puberty, it is influenced by both hereditary and environmental factors as well as hormones. So in terms of hereditary factor, it is programmed into the genes of every human being. Um, and in terms of environmental factors, it is linked to different family influences, stress, which marks the onset and duration of puberty. So, for example, it is early onset of puberty related to environmental factors have been linked to um, The absence of a father, low socioeconomic status, family conflict, maternal harshness, child maltreatment, and early substance abuse. And um, with hormones, behind the signs of development of hormones, there's a flood of hormones. And hormones are a powerful chemical substances secreted by the endocrine glands and carried through the body by the bloodstream. So, if we think about it, what do you think are um, some of the consequences of early maturation for boys and girls? So, for you, think about it. Um, did you go into this period of puberty early on? So, did you experience an early maturation or late maturation? And what were the consequences for you personally? Research has shown that the consequences of early maturation are different for girls than for boys. So, for boys, um, early maturing boys perceive themselves more positively and they have more successful peer relations than late maturing boys. However, on the other hand, for girls, there's a number of problems that girls experience when they have early maturation, and research shows that early maturing girls are more likely to smoke, drink, be depressed, have an eating disorder, engage in delinquency, struggle in earlier independence from their parents, have older friends, and their bodies are likely to elicit responses from males that lead to earlier dating and earlier sexual experiences. Um, at the same time, research shows that those boys who matured late, they have more positive outcomes during their 30s. And perhaps that, is due to the fact that early maturing boys may have continued to focus on their physical status instead of paying attention to maybe career development and achievement. Um, so, what do you think um, personally? What are your own opinions based on the research that I just talked about? Um, so, again, this is the first part of the lecture, and I will continue on with the second part in a different presentation. Thank you very much.